Hey, this is Andrea.
And this is Amanda.
And you're listening to
Girls Nerd Out. Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast. We will be discussing House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 7, which actually has a decent name this time, The Red Sowing. I'm kind of impressed with it. You want to talk about it, Andrea?
Of course, when I clicked on it, it didn't say that at first. And then when I watched it again, it said it. So I don't know why they keep doing that, but it's fine. And the red sowing makes sense because they also call what's going to happen with the dragon seeds in this episode the red sowing. So, and the sowing of the seeds. So it's perfect.
Yeah. And even if they came up with it last minute, at least it's a good name. So we'll go with that.
Yes.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and dig in because this was an incredible episode with tons of dragon. Tons.
Oh, yeah.
And first off is the scene that we've been waiting for. We saw it in the teaser trailer. It's a beach scene, and you know one is Cyrax, and then people tried to guess who the other dragon was, and it is, in fact, Sea Smoke. And I would like to say Cyrax is fierce. Too many times people act like she can't fight. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, she could fight, and she proved it on that beach.
Oh, yeah. That girl is ready.
She was ready, and she was moving forward, too.
I have to say, I like the way that she moves. It's very cute.
Yeah, I like it, too. She's just different. She's built different. And it's like she moves with her wings differently. And her claws are different. It's almost like she was designed to be like aerodynamic. I don't know. I really like that too. That looked really cool. And I thought it was interesting. Obviously, we know why Cyrax is defensive because she's feeling it from Rhaenyra and also watching Sea Smoke, who's not a tiny dragon at all. He's a pretty big boy. And Cyrax and Rhaenyra are both trying to figure out friend or foe. And then Sea Smoke, he gets defensive too. It's kind of interesting.
And I'm wondering because Adam wasn't super defensive. Like he was like, no, I really want to learn. I want to, like, he bends the knee to Rhaenyra. So, and when Rhaenyra starts walking towards Adam, Sea Smoke moves and then gets very, like, I'm going to get you if you do anything. And it wasn't Cyrax that came with her at this point when she walks up closer to him. So it's just really interesting.
I'm fine with a protective dragon, but let me ask you this really quick. Did you notice Sea Smoke went back to his original shape and coloring now that it's not Drogon reused CGI? God.
Yeah. His face looked a little different too, which is funny.
It is funny because I'm just going to call it a snout because what else are we going to call it? It's thinner than it was in the previous episode, but it's the shape it was in season 1. So I thought that was funny, but he looked great. He looked fantastic. The way Adam bent the knee so quick, I mean, I almost teared up.
That shows you what kind of person Rhaenyra is, for the fact that he just bent the knee so fast. And I like that she finally said, like, because she does call herself queen, obviously, but the fact that she says, I'm the queen of the 7 kingdoms, I really liked her saying that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she was like, hey, who are you and why do you have that dragon? So, yeah, she's fierce too. Look, people underestimate Cyrax and Rhaenyra. So, I think they showed a lot with that. And then after that, what scene do we go to after that? It's your fave.
Oh, yes. We see Alicent, which she's really boring this season in general, but Maester Orwell is cleaning up her cut that she got during the riot. And the only thing I can say about this scene, besides seeing the rat and her saying nothing is clean here, she says that she has done everything for the realm and her house. And I'm like, maybe for your house, but what have you done for the realm?
That was nauseating. I mean, she really believes it. She's like, I've served my house in the realm, and in the end, none of it mattered. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think what I'm trying to think now that you said that again, because we talked about this earlier, I honestly think she's saying that the fact that none of it matters is because she did everything that she could, even though she stole it. She stole the throne, to put Aegon on the throne, and now it doesn't matter because both Aegon and Aemond want nothing to do with her. So
It's funny how if you don't have anything to do with your kids and you don't comfort them when they're upset and you just neglect them, isn't it weird that they neglect you later on? Oh my God, that's so crazy.
and I feel like it is crazy, but I also feel like she expected to be ruling because, like, I mean,
Yep,
Aegon is a party man, right? So
yep.
now he probably won't be a party man. But he was a party man, and she expected him to not want to rule. He wouldn't like it. So then her and her dad could take over, but now that's out the window.
Here's the funny part. She's wearing a new color and it looks more blue than green. You could call it in the family of green colors, but it's looking more blue. And I do want to say this though, Andrea,
Hmm.
like in the books, obviously Alicent goes mad. She doesn't go mad until she's older. I don't want people to start saying that she's mad right now. And no matter what she does, they'll just say, oh, well, she's mad. Oh, well, she's mad. No, right now, I mean, she's sad because she's lost power, but she has her faculties. So if
Yeah.
she does something in the next episode, people can't say, well, it's because she's mad. No, no, she's just lost power. I'm not saying she won't go mad, but she, for the first time in her life, doesn't have any power.
Yep.
Oh,
And nobody
well.
wants anything to do with her.
Hell no,
Um,
I don't.
the
Yeah,
next
go
scene that we
ahead.
go into is you see we're out in the courtyard. I like it because in the background they show Aemond talking to two Kingsguard, who, by the way, are Aegon's friends. They are getting their cloaks stripped from them because basically how the riot was handled and all that stuff. And they're being sent to the wall. And Larys is talking to Jasper Wild, who is on Aegon's council. He heard that Sea Smoke is flying around with a rider, and he thinks that Larys should probably tell Aemond and maybe like look into it more because they don't know who actually is riding. I mean, he mentioned Rhaena, which you mentioned earlier, Amanda, about
Mm-hmm.
Rhaena, but it was just like a short little thing about
It was,
her.
yeah, it was a short little thing. That scene between those two, that was a quick scene, but think of everything you get from that one little scene. Okay, we find out, like you said, some of Aegon's boys, his frat boys, are going to the wall. And I'm sure Eamon is sending them to the wall because they're Aegon's friends. That's why
Oh
they
yeah,
didn't get their head cut off. And then, of course, Laris is doing his propaganda and saying, because our, what does he say? Because our, does he call him Prince or Regent? I can't
he calls
remember.
him he calls him Prince Regent.
Oh, okay. Well, so both. He's like,
Yeah.
our Prince Regent is generous and stuff like that. So he's doing his little propaganda. The dude's like, hey, Sea Smoke has a writer. Somebody told somebody. And Laris is like, well, we don't want to bother Eamon with that. And then he like goes on to basically say, and I don't think anyone else should bother him with that. Because he's very adamant that he doesn't want him to know. And that is because Eamon made a real big mistake last episode, embarrassing Laris in front of the council and making him think he was going to be hand and then saying, go get Otto. Not smart. Not
Oh
smart.
yeah.
Uh-uh. So I would assume Laris will probably make sure he pays for that at some point.
Oh yeah. It's very telling that he did that.
Hey, look,
Um,
Laris off to people in his own family. He'll do whatever.
But notice how you'll see in this episode that that the people that he's talking to like that, they're not saying anything either. So it's like very interesting how they're kind of working for him but not, you know?
Oh yeah. They're skeptical around him and I would be too because they've heard rumors. But one little sentence. They were trying to figure out who might be the writer of Sea Smoke
Hmm.
and they mentioned Raina and of course like I perked up. I was like, "What?" And they said, no, it's not Raina, because she tried to bond with Sea Smoke and she almost got killed. And I think that is so important. I really wish that that was something said where you could see Raina and a bigger deal was made about that, because it makes it seem like Raina's tried with all these dragons and, it just didn't work. No, she has actually gone up to Sea Smoke, and Sea Smoke tried to burn her and she got away. I mean, there's no other. She tried and she almost died. Well, yeah, that means Sea Smoke was like, no. So that
Yep.
just shows how brave she is. And I think she should get credit for that.
100%.
I
And
love
then,
her.
so then we go back to Dragonstone, and Rhaenyra brought Adam back, and I really liked it because she tells her Grand Maester that she wants. I think that's Grand Maester Gerardus. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but that's how I'm going to say it. And he is telling the council that Rhaenyra wants Adam to learn High Valyrian and different ways to ride on a dragon. I think that's really cool.
I love the fact that she wants to teach him the things that other dragon riders know. And I think that he probably appreciates that too. I think it shows a lot. I love that very much. And
And
your
go
girl
ahead.
Massaria,
Yes.
Massaria the Wise. You want to talk about her?
Yes. So Rhaenyra is trying to she like doesn't know where Adam comes from, and obviously he's base born because he's not of noble birth. He even says he's low born, like.
Yeah.
So she didn't expect that. She didn't expect a lowborn to have any way of bonding with a dragon, and obviously he can sense that. Sea Smoke can sense whatever's in him.
Mm.
And Massaria, she was talking about how like he's got to have highborn Targaryen blood somewhere, and Massaria is telling her, I don't remember exactly the exact words. You might have to say it. I'm sorry. I don't
Oh,
want to mess it up.
it's well. That's why I wrote it down, because I was like, ooh.
I should have wrote it down. I feel terrible
Well,
about that.
come, honey, you're the only person that picked up on the fact that they would have a moment. You were the first person to ship Masari and Rhaenyra. I think you do fine for her. So, okay, so Adam makes a choice to not say that Corlys is his dad, which I totally respect, because
Yes.
he's trying to do things on his own, and I have no hate. Plus, he didn't know, like, that might piss Corlys off. He doesn't know. So he just says, like, I don't really know my family history. So Rhaenyra thinks there's probably, some Targaryen blood somewhere. And she's really focusing on, I want to find riders that have Targaryen blood. And
Yes.
Massaria, like, immediately tells her, well, my queen, I know a place where many princes visited, and it's the brothels.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells Rhaenyra, the lowborn may serve you better because they are the ones in need. And because Rhaenyra is not considering lowborn because it's just nothing that she's ever just thought of. And this is what I loved so much. Massaria points out that Aemond and Aegon are highborn and they're not honorable.
Yeah.
So why would it's great because then she's like, so why would you think the lowborn didn't have honor? Look at these two. And you can just see it click. Like, I think it's great that Massaria did that. Like, she gave her a perspective she'd never thought of, and it just clicks. And then Rhaenyra's like, let us raise an army of bastards. She's like, let's
I
go.
love that line.
Let's go.
I love that line.
I mean, that was great for Massaria. Great.
Yes, and some people say that, like, well, how come Rhaenyra didn't think about them? Well, they just never think about the small folk that way because, like you said, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she doesn't care about the small folk. It just means that she didn't think about them to have any sort of way of riding a dragon, because not just anybody can ride a dragon. So they just don't think about that kind of thing. And yeah, I agree.
You know what I think? I think from Rhaenyra's perspective, and her family, like previously, all those generations. I think they know you have to have Valyrian blood to bond with a dragon, but think about it. Like, they are around dragons all the time. They're around the eggs all the time. They're taught High Valyrian. I think Rhaenyra assumed that all these things would need to occur to give you the possibility. And that makes sense because that's the way she does it. Like, Rhaenyra has a kid, that kid gets an egg, that kid starts learning High Valyrian, that kid starts working with the dragon keepers. So to her, like, all those aspects would lead to a bond. And so now she's just been given this whole new, oh, okay, so they can bond and then they can learn. And I think
Yeah.
it's great that she listened to Massaria and was like, all right, let's do this. I think that shows a lot. I really do.
Does. And then so after that, and I really like that scene because again I really like Rhaenyra and Massaria. And then after that they go to Adam and Corlys, and I really enjoyed this scene. It was a very quick scene, but it's like he's very different when he's talking to Adam and Alan. And I know some people feel that maybe he just doesn't care as much for Adam. I don't think that's true. I think because there's a lot of, I've been saying a lot throughout this podcast about second son syndrome. Damon has it. I'm sure Luke had it. There's just, it's just how it goes. And Corlys has Alan is his firstborn with this other woman. So Alan is going to be who he's going to focus on. Alan also shows a lot of interest in ships and being on a ship, and he's made him his first mate. So that's a huge honor. And I don't think Alan wants anything else, to be honest. And Adam wants to be free. He wants to do whatever and do something on his own. And to me, it reminds me a lot of probably Laenor. I feel like Laenor was the same way. And that doesn't mean that he doesn't care about Adam. I just think that because he's a second son, he's not going to focus too much on him. He also doesn't really care about the dragons, like you said earlier. So, and he has a reason to not care about them. So it's like, he's just like, well, look, now he's riding a dragon, I guess, but good. He did say good for you. Like that was a good job or whatever.
Yeah, he did. He was nice to him. That was the first time we've seen him, be more than like, I'm just going to walk away or not pay attention. And I think Corlys is starting to associate, dragon with I'm going to lose somebody. So that might be Corlys not getting attached to Adam because he knows they're about to be in a dragon war. You never know because he's been through so much loss. But I think he was relieved to know that Alan, like, he doesn't want to go that route. I think he was because Corlys lost everybody and then he got two. And I think he just really wants to not be alone. And I think he sees a lot of himself in Alan, I think.
Yes, I agree. And again, I think that Adam is very much like Laenor. So you would think that he'd want to pay extra attention to him, but it is what it is. So Dark. So now we're going to Harrenhal. We get to see Daemon and Dark's sister really well this episode. I really love Dark's sister. It's such a beautiful sword. And Oscar Tully is there, and I really like Oscar Tully. Now we are not a fan of House Tully, but this Tully. He's fine. He's great. I know a lot of people are saying that he's, what's the term, raw dogging Daemon, but I don't agree with that. Yes, he is speaking his mind to Daemon and sticking up to him because he's he's Lord Paramount. He has to be like that. But at the same time, I think Daemon really admired it. I really think he admired it because he likes cocky attitudes, and this kid is giving him a huge cocky attitude, and it's fine. And he's doing it for a reason. He's doing it for his people. And I like that he tells Daemon that we bent the knee. My house bent the knee to Viserys, and we recognize Rhaenyra as his heir. So, and the fact that he laid it on thick about the named heir, because I am a huge fan of the idea that she is the named heir and it should be respected, and it's not.
Well, I had no idea that people were saying he raw dogged Daemon. Jesus Christ.
It's all over the internet right now, all over TikTok, several videos. I'm like, can we stop?
Okay, number one, Oscar Tully didn't raw dog Daemon Targaryen. Oscar acted like he was nervous and young and till they got outside. And then he flips the script and that impressed Damon. Oscar
Yes.
knew what he was doing the whole time. Like, Damon has respect for Oscar for pulling a fast one on him. And because Oscar walks up to him and I mean he's like, they all hate you. And that was just really funny. And David makes a really good statement. He says, "I don't need their love, I need their swords." I thought that was
Yes.
pretty cool.
My favorite line.
Yeah. And oh my god, Simon is
Oh,
dressed to the nines.
he looked great. And he said like one or two words and that was it, the whole scene. And I really like how he kept looking at Damon just to check on him because he really
Mhm.
seems to like him. And I love them.
Look, Simon was iced out. I don't know how many jewels and things he had on, but it was absolutely fantastic. And his facial expressions were all he needed to do, and that was great.
Very good acting.
And speaking of clothing, I talked to you about this last night and you agreed with me because I wanted to ask you if this is what you thought. When we see Damon in this scene, he's wearing all black. And previously, when he was at Dragonstone, Andrea and I talked about how Rhaenyra and Damon, their clothing very often matches. You could tell it's made from the same cloth, it's similar colors. And he doesn't have on any red and nothing has a dragon on it. And I asked Andrea if that might be some symbolism, like Damon is far away from Rhaenyra in Dragonstone. And so it's a bit of he feels lost and his identity is a little bit in question because he needs to go back. And I think you agreed with me. The
Yes.
lack of red and the lack of dragons. And Damon usually has a dragon on. He usually does.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
It is cool. And I liked his outfit. He looked really good.
He did.
So the whole reason why they're there is because the Riverlands are upset with what Willem Blackwood did and his group of people against them, like the Brackens and other houses. And Willem Blackwood was savage. He was savage against people that they're trying to get on Rhaenyra's side, and he used it with the Targaryen banner. Now that Damon can't associate with because Damon didn't tell him to do this. He didn't tell him to act the way he did, and especially not fly the Targaryen banner. That makes him look really bad. That makes Rhaenyra look really bad. So he didn't say any of that. So the fact that Willem Blackwood did what he did with the Targaryen banner, the Riverlands are pissed, and that's understandable. So the whole reason why they're there is because, well, I think Willem Blackwood thinks it's going to be about the Brackens, but it's about him. He needs to be punished, and by punished what he did, it's a war crime. So he's going to be killed for it, and Damon has to be the one to do it. Now, and I don't like how Willem Blackwood, I love Willem Blackwood, but I don't like how cocky he was. He was like, well, Damon won't do this because I did it for him. And I'm like, yeah, you may have done it for him, but you didn't have to do it the way you did it. So when Damon kills him, Damon didn't want to kill him, but he had to. So it was meant to happen. And you could tell on his face that he didn't want to do it. It broke him a little bit.
It did. He knew something would come from that. Look, Willem went too far. He went savage and he held the Targaryen banner when he did it. Daemon did not tell him to say that that was done with the. It's not from House Targaryen, basically. He
Yeah.
never told him, go out, do whatever you want, and by the way, show him my banner. Willem stepped way too far and way too high. And Damon knew that Willem needed to die, and he knew he needed to die in front of the other lords of the Riverland. He had
Yes,
to.
he did. And then afterwards we see Damon and Viserys scene. And I really, really enjoyed this scene because um, you get to see all of Viserys, how he looked before he died, and Daemon. This is like how he's really seeing it, and Viserys is holding a crown. And I'm sorry, but Patty's acting is just perfect there. He's holding the crown and he's looking at it, and he says that he never wanted it. and because it caused a lot of pain. And that was very interesting because he never really expresses that in the four, but the fact that he's saying this in a vision, it all fits. And then he looks at Damon and says, "You've always wanted the crown. Do you want it still?" And I thought that was really well done.
Oh man, look, when it shifts to that scene, Viserys is so thin. Look, I was like shocked. I mean, he was skin and bone, and the CGI they used on him was fantastic because it looked like Patty after Patty hadn't eaten for 2 years. That was incredible. He looks so sad and so broken, and he admits it. I never wanted it, and he says it crushes whoever wears it. And like you
Yeah.
said, he's like, "Do you want it still?" And to me, I don't think Damon ever wanted the crown. I think
Yeah.
he wanted the crown to love him, which is Viserys.
Yep.
That's what I think. I think he wanted love and acceptance from his brother. He had
And
power. He still has power. He has a lot of power.
I just had a thought. So Rhaenyra wears that same crown now, and he loves Rhaenyra, and he's wants Rhaenyra's love too. So the fact that like the fight that they just had before he went to Harrenhal, that's probably also what he's thinking about too. Like, do I really want this crown? Because it's causing a lot of problems for me too. So
Wait, I just had a thought too. Do you think that vision is to warn Damon that the crown Rhaenyra has is going to do that to her?
probably.
I didn't even think about that. So he now understands what the crown did to Viserys, and that same crown is atop his wife's head. So I think he's going to have a completely different outlook.
Yes, he will. And I can't
Damn.
wait. This is really good character development for Damon. So I'm very excited to see how this ends for his story. And then, yeah, so I can't imagine a better way to do this. So it's perfect. Uh,
Agreed.
and then after that, we see Aegon walking around, trying to walk around, which he is badly burned,
Mm-hmm.
badly broken. How he's kind of still like how he's barely walking, but the fact that he fell so high from the sky and is kind of walking is amazing to me.
Oh my God. Did you hear what it's not official, but because of the way he was on the ground, I saw it online. Apparently, Sunfire cradled him in their wing all the way
Yeah.
down. Yeah, tell me
That
that
shows
doesn't
how much
break you.
it,
Yeah.
it does break me. That shows me that shows you how much she really cares about
Yeah, I'm with
Aegon.
you. I still think Sunfire is a girl, but regardless, Sunfire cradled him because Sunfire knows how fragile people are. And I mean, that's heartbreaking because, like you and I keep saying, he has not mentioned Sunfire one time. Not once.
Not once.
Not once.
So it seems like they're working him really hard to get him moving again. So the Grand Maester, who I'm not a fan of, but this show he's not so bad yet. He's helping Laris get Aegon into working order, which is very interesting. And I don't think anybody knows besides these two what's going on. Um,
Agree.
so I'm very curious how that's going to go out. And then after that, we see Alan and Corlys talking about sending a message to what I would assume be the small folks that have Targaryen blood. And so he's telling Alan to take this message to obviously, well, you do see it gets sent to Rhaenyra's handmaid, one of her handmaids, because she's still in King's Landing. And he wants Alan to have ships out there. So I think that's really cool because they're going to start carting them onto the ship and bring them back to Dragonstone. So
Yeah, I really like that because it shows he trusts him because that's the person he told. And I think it's
yes,
really cool. I really do. I like that.
I like the whole plan. It's very interesting. Um, So then after that we see, it's a very brief scene, but we see the Vale again with Rhaena walking with her brothers. They're supposed to be going to Pentos. They're supposed to go on the Gay Abandon, which is a ship, and they're supposed to go to Pentos. And so she doesn't go with them. She goes and finds some burnt, scorched earth where there is some bones of sheep, it looked like to me. And I think she's going to follow the trail of more scorched earth and bones to find where his lair is, Sheep Stealer's lair.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's very cool. I know some people complained about the fact that that she's leaving those boys alone. She's not. Those boys are with people that they trust, and they're going to go to Pentos where they should be safe.
Okay, those boys left with a lot of people. They're acting like the Raina left those two boys on like some tiny boat with two people. No, they have people in Pentos waiting on them. All the people that took care of the boys, I mean, all of them, every nanny, probably a wet nurse that is now a nanny, and like there was a lot of people, a lot. Because I mean, they're important. Raina's the only one that dipped. Yeah.
Those boys should be safe. Those boys definitely should be. I mean, they probably won't be, but they should be. And then we see the Jace and Rhaenyra scene on Dragonstone. Jace's, this is a very good scene, very good acting scene by both of them. Jace is talking about the fact that Rhaenyra is using bastards to join and try to bond with a dragon. And he talks about how, well, these baseborns, when they bond with a dragon, who's to say they won't try to rule the Seven Kingdoms as well? Because she talks about how they're all dragon riders and they're the true rulers of the Seven Kingdoms. But who's to say that somebody that isn't that is a baseborn is going to take a dragon and think, okay, I have a big dragon, who's going to stop me? I could take the throne too, because that's how the Targaryens did it. So I really liked that scene, and I understand he's very upset. He because he's also, you can talk about this, but he's also very he feels inferior to these people because he is admitting that he is also a bastard, and he has a dragon, and he is the heir to the Iron Throne. But when Rhaenyra dies, if she dies, what's going to happen? Well, he's the heir, so he should be able to have the throne. But who's going to stop somebody to take the throne? You know,
he finally just brought it up to her, and like it's heartbreaking because he asked her, "Did you think I would have brown hair?" And it's like, damn. So that has followed him around his entire life. Like, we saw what Daemon did to Vaemon for calling them bastards. He's been whispered about, talked about so much. His one thing that separated him from other people is he has a dragon. And he clings to that, which is completely natural because that proves, hey, I'm a Targaryen. I have a dragon. And Vermax is beautiful. Vermax is very beautiful, but Vermax is not huge. I mean, I don't know how old Vermax is at this point, and he's growing fast, but he's not massive. He will. I mean, all dragons are eventually, but he's young, and Jace knows that Vermithor and Silverwing are big, and he's literally saying, "Mom, come on, this is the one thing that I had, and now other people are going to have it." And I understand his feelings. I do, and I think he will get over it fairly quickly. But I'm glad he said it. I'm glad he got it out. He needed to. He needed to finally say,
yes.
I know what I am. And yeah, he was frustrated. But like I told you earlier, I'm really hoping he has a conversation with Bela and she puts it in perspective. I feel like she could.
Okay, so we see the message being passed around through the city, like giving it to all this proves that the gold cloaks are definitely on the black side because they're helping them work through the city to try to get the dragon seeds. And so I really enjoyed that scene. And then we see Hugh Hammer with his wife, and she really wants to go to Tumbleton. Now I don't know what's going on with their daughter, but we didn't see their daughter at all. But she wants to go to Tumbleton, and I kept saying, "Don't go to Tumbleton because it's going to be sacked pretty soon, twice." But he talks about how he has to do this. He has to have this dragon because it'll help them. He'll if he gets a dragon, he'll get. I'm assuming because in the book they offer lands and titles to whoever gets and marriages, whatever marriages they want. So like it's I think that's probably the incentive that they're going to tell these people. They just didn't show it. Because he says that they'll make her a lady if he bonds with a dragon. And it is very dangerous. He could risk his life doing this. And she doesn't want to be a lady. She wants him. She wants to be with him. But I understand from both sides. And he talks about how he never told her this, but his mother worked in a pleasure house, and his mother was a Targaryen. He never knew his dad, but his mother was a Targaryen, and said that she is related to Daemon and Viserys's dad.
I was shocked when I heard that. I was like, what?
I liked this story better than Ulf's because
Yeah.
I still think Ulf is lying. But I really like that because this is Sarah Targaryen. Sarah Targaryen is one of Jaehaerys's daughters, and she had her and her dad did not get along at all. Jaehaerys was a terrible father to her, but not just to her other kids too, but he was terrible. She wanted to be a free spirit. She didn't want to be married to old men. I mean, because that's all they offered was older guys, and she's not the only one they did that to. But she didn't want to get married. She didn't want to have children. So she wanted to do what she wanted, and she did so many bad things in Jaehaerys's eyes that he wanted to lock her up. He sent her to become a septa, which no, like that's not something she wanted to do. So she left. She left King's Landing and went to Lys and started working in pleasure houses. And I think Hugh is probably born there. I think he was born in Lys because a lot of people are like, well, there's no way she could be in a pleasure house in King's Landing. I mean, her dad would never stand for that. And I agree. So that's probably why she went to Lys and, got pregnant, gave birth to Hugh, and Hugh got to know her a little bit. But I think because he says he was ashamed of her, that he ended up leaving. So that's how he ended up in Westeros. That's what I'm going to assume.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I just thought of something.
Yes.
Isn't that what Jorah's wife did when he ran out of money? Didn't she go to Lys too?
Yes. Yes, she did.
Okay, well then that makes me wonder if that's like a thing. So if you're a beautiful highborn and you don't want to stay in Westeros, yeah, because they talk about how the Black Pearl came from highborn. It was a Targaryen, I think the first one. So I guess that's actually a thing.
It makes
So
sense. I've already seen some complaints about how he's basically saying, if I get a dragon, I have power. And I'm like, that's basically what it is. I mean, I don't know if he's going to use it for power, but he's going to at least help in this war. So, but it essentially, I don't think he's really thinking about, I'm going to have a dragon and I'm going to take over. I'm thinking he's like, I'm going to get food on my family's table. I'm going to, we're going to live more comfortably than we are.
they're
So
starving. They're
they're
starving.
hungry. It's desperate.
He has no other option. None.
No.
So
Um, sorry.
no,
Okay.
you're fine.
So then we get to see Rhaenyra again at Dragonstone talking to because all the you see all the people come into Dragonstone, the dragon seeds are coming, and there's the dragon keepers are upset. They're very upset with this because like this isn't how they do things. They've never done it this way actually, and so they're upset because of tradition, and tradition is not this is it's like they're basically saying it sounds like she's using it as a plaything like these dragons, and I don't agree with that, but I get where he's coming from because I feel like Rhaenyra has a reason to be doing this.
This is my opinion on it. I think the Dragon Keepers are really cool, but what I look at it as, it's a generational, not even a job, it's a generational duty. And because they specifically say this is an abomination, and that's kind of what got this idea in my head. So you have these Dragon Keepers, and they speak in High Valyrian. This is what they do. They've probably done it who knows how many generations back. And I look at it like this. It would be like medieval times, and it's war, and there's a church. And so you go to use that church because you need a place to house like your soldiers or something. The priests are going to be like, this is an abomination. But the person leading the men is going to be like, no, this is war. That's how it is. It's like, I feel like the Dragon Keepers, they're disconnected from the outside world quite a bit. They are. Yes. By choice, though, by choice. But Rhaenyra is looking at this strategically, like, look, I understand that this is not something that you agree with, but we're way past being able to choose. We need to do what we need to do. So both are correct. Both I understand. It's just, I feel like the Dragon Keepers, they don't fully understand what's going on in the outside world, probably.
Yeah. And then so all these people are in this room, and she walks in, and according to Ryan Condal, on the after show of this episode, he says that this was Emma's idea to walk in like that and talk like Rhaenyra does, and this speech was all Emma's idea, according to Ryan Condal. So I really liked that she took that Emma took the initiative to do this. And it speaks well because it reflects on Rhaenyra a lot, on how much of a leader she is and how much she cares about them to be able to do this. The fact that they're going to do this is pretty amazing, and they're going to try, and they know the risks. These group of people know the risks. She tells them the risks, and the first dragon they're going to try to bond is Vermithor, and I like that she called him the Bronze Fury, because he is.
He is. And something I noticed that I thought was really cool, when she goes in to talk to the Dragon Seeds, she doesn't have her crown on. And I think that is deliberate because she wants them to see her as a person. Yes. And not be intimidated. I mean, they're going to be intimidated, but the crown would make it even more so. And I love the fact that she explains to them, if we can get these dragons bonded, peace will be restored, suffering will be ended, and without bloodshed, God's willing. Without bloodshed, without bloodshed. So what does that mean? That means that Rhaenyra wants those dragons to have riders, so the intimidation stops everything. She says without bloodshed. So there's two options. One is the intimidation and they just give up, or they have enough dragons to take out Vhagar. They take out Vhagar. The Greens have no leg to stand on, and no one else dies. She is trying to do this without loss of life, and I think that's lost on some people.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't know if you noticed, but before she walked into the room, or when she started to walk in the room, one of her Queen's Guard tried to come in with her to protect her, but she was like, nope. I can do this, kind of.
I didn't notice that. That goes right along with her not wearing the crown, then.
Yeah, I agree. 100% loved it. It was very, very Rhaenyra. I don't know about book Rhaenyra, but very show Rhaenyra. I loved it.
Andrea, this is really funny, and I'm keeping this in. Andrea completely skipped a scene, and I would like to tell you what scene she skipped. Alicent Hightower.
Oh yeah, I did.
Like guys, if you ever thought that there is no love for Alicent Hightower, that is proof. Look, guys, this is bad shit, and I'm not giving her credit. She's not mad. She's gone on some kind of cleansing journey in the woods, like some kind of retreat. Andrea, I don't even know what to say. She's in the woods. She has a tent in the woods. She takes one guy with her. I'm not really sure why. She takes off her green dress, so she's in her small clothes, which are white. And everybody thought she was gonna try to end her life. She was just gonna walk into this lake. No, she doesn't try to end her life. She goes
For
floating.
swim.
She goes swimming with no context, no why. She has gone out in the woods. She has brought this poor man who has no clue what's going on, and she takes off her dress and goes swimming in a lake. And that's how the scene ends. I don't have words, Andrea. I can't explain that. All I could do is say, I guess she's doing that thing where she doesn't wear as much green. I said she should stop wearing green, but I didn't say anything about going floating in a lake. I don't know, Andrea. Do you even have any idea of what that means? I don't know.
I think she just realizes that nobody wants her, nobody needs her. So I'm just gonna go swimming because why the heck not? I mean, my sons are probably gonna die soon, but f that. I'm just gonna go swimming.
It's like she's going to the water park and she's going to the lazy river. She's like, you know what? The rats are back. I don't have power, so I'm just gonna go swim. Like it's like oh god, it's like Finding Nemo. It's like Dory. Like I'm just gonna float. I'm just gonna float. I
You
can't.
think that she would take her daughter with her because pretty sure her daughter needs some reprieve too, but whatever.
She probably forgot Helena exists, to be honest with you. And, that's a really good point. If she's going on her own nature retreat, why didn't she take her daughter, who, by the way, likes creepy crawly things, so would probably like a nature retreat? You know what? We're going to call this the Allison Hightower Nature Retreat. It's very exclusive. And you get to stay in a tent and you get to swim in a lake. Apparently, it's going to be very thrilling, and I can't wait for more of it. Can't wait.
Me neither.
What's she gonna do in the next episode? Like, she gonna find a waterfall or something? And look, I don't know, man. I
The
don't
fact
know.
that
I
they
give
chose
up.
to focus on it though is really funny. I'm like, what? I don't care. Like, good for her.
I
Whatever.
was giggling. Once I realized she's not trying to drown herself, she's just floating. I was like, wow, Rhaenyra is trying to get riders for dragons, and she's doing this like great speech, and she is dealing with dragons that need riders, these people that can be hurt. She's dealing with the fact Daemon hasn't gotten back yet. She's wondering about the River Lords. She's got Jace. He's visibly upset. She's got all these things in her head. And then Allison's floating, y'all. She's floating. I just had to say that. Wow.
That's
So
fine.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, so then
Idiot.
we get to see the dragon mot. They're in the dragon mot, and Vermithor, like I said, is going to be the first dragon that they're going to try to bond. And she calls for him and High Valyrian, and then he comes. He's so big. He's so perfectly big, and I really liked her High Valyrian. Very very well done on
I
this.
agree.
What?
It was really good. You're right.
Um, and then Vermithor comes out, and she tells him to to like come obey, serve me, that kind of thing. And he does. I mean, he's a little rightfully so, like, hey, I was trying to nap. um Rightfully so, a little unhinged, and that's fine. And she calms him down, and she touches him, and he just lets her, and it's a very sweet moment, even though she's not bonded to him. It's just very cool.
I love it because it shows that she has a relationship with Vermithor. I think it's very purposeful that Vermithor was the dragon in season one that Daemon is checking on and singing to. And I asked you if you thought Rhaenyra did the same, and you agreed with me. Vermithor, he is, I don't know, because, show canon's different. In the book, Vermithor is a little under 100. He is, but dragons live to approximately 200, so this is prime. This is prime Vermithor. He's been chilling out for a while, so obviously grumpy. I mean, he is the Bronze Fury, so but he's beautiful. He is the spikiest dragon that we have seen. He is stunning. I loved every minute of it. He is beautiful. He is massive. And the fact that Rhaenyra can reach out her bare hand and touch his nose without her hand shaking was absolutely breathtaking.
It was
Breathtaking. And I have to say this, and Andrea agrees with me. Vermithor is the father of Drogon, Rhaegon, Viserion. Fight me.
100%.
He
Um,
is. He will be to me.
I like when she leaves with Bela and Adam and they go, in her guards and they go up there and then she's basically like, the dragon gets to talk now. So you have to deal with the dragon. So all the dragon seeds are standing there and Vermithor, one guy does want to come up and try to bond with him, but Vermithor looks at him and then looks at all the other people. Like he moves his head and looks at them all. Like he's checking them all out. I know he probably senses something, but I think that's really cool that the way he does
Yeah.
it, he just looks at every single one of them. It's very, very awesome. And then of course he obviously doesn't like the guy that's trying to bond with him, so he kills him and burns a lot of people. It's fine. That's just how it is. And
Well,
a
I
lot of
mean,
people get burned
they
and eaten.
do. Oh yeah, he snacks on a couple. Okay. I haven't looked online and I'm glad I haven't. I don't know what people are saying about Vermithor. I'm a dragon apologist, but I can explain. I can explain. Okay, dragons are territorial.
Yes.
You have to think about it like that. You have to think about I don't know if everybody knows this, but the Dragonmont is actually behind Dragonstone, and that is where the dragons have their layers, and they're not chained up like they are in King's Landing. So they can come and go as they please. And that is their territory. The thing is, if you had like some really big dogs, I don't know, like a Rottweiler, something like that, a dog's gonna growl and try to bite you. The difference is dragons have fire. So, from Vermithor's perspective, those people don't feel right. He knows they're strangers. He knows they don't feel like the people he's bonded with, or they don't feel like other Targaryens. They don't feel like Daemon. They don't feel like Rhaenyra. He doesn't know them. So to
Yes.
him, you are stepping in his space. That's his space. I don't think he torches people just because they don't have Valyrian blood. I think it's because that is somebody in here. I don't know you. Okay, this might be a reach, Andrea, but most people don't know that Vermithor and Silverwing have been a dragon couple for many, many years.
Yes.
And at this point, Silverwing is still in her lair.
Mm-hmm.
Look. I don't think Vermithor wanted random people hanging around, and I damn sure don't think he wanted them around his dragon wife. I'm just saying.
So when he's setting people on fire, they focus a lot. They focus a lot on Hugh, and Hugh is running around and he hides behind this rock, and you see this girl. She to me looks very much like Helena. It's crazy. I thought it was Helena at first. I was like, why is she there? That doesn't make sense. And then I realized, no, that's not her. But she looks like she's definitely a Targaryen. There's no way she's not.
Oh yeah, that looks like Helena. She looks a lot like Helena, to the point where I'm wondering, since it's really hard to tell the ages of people in the show, do you think there's a possibility she could be one of the kids from King's Landing that was from Aegon when there was that really ick thing about how Miss Arya wanted him to stop watching the kids fight. It was like street fighting.
Maybe, or it could be one of Viserys's kids, because I know there was a rumor that they were going to have Viserys sleep around, like have bastard children, but I don't know.
It, I wonder if she's one of them.
Honestly, she does look like her. But anyway, so he's kind of protective of her, and she like Vermithor goes after her, and he gets Vermithor's attention and is like, no, look at me, come at me, not that person, look at me. And so Vermithor is kind of forced to look at him because he's like getting into a shouting match with him. And I like to compare this um to Jon Snow and Viserion in what was that, season 8, where Jon Snow is yelling at Viserion, and I think Jon was trying to be the same way with Viserion, the way that Hugh is, but it didn't work, obviously, for Jon, but it very much well worked for Hugh, and Hugh gives me the kind of Baratheon energy, so I bet his dad is a Baratheon, and Baratheon's also, well, at least Robert Baratheon. I don't know. There's a lot of Baratheons that probably have Targaryen blood, to be honest. But I definitely believe his father is a Baratheon or something like that because he's giving me that energy, and I really liked that bonding scene. It was beautiful.
I like that scene too. I like the bonding a lot. And he does give a Baratheon vibe. And I think a lot of people forget or don't know that Oris Baratheon was rumored to be the half brother of Aegon the Conqueror. So there's definitely some Targaryen Baratheon mixed blood all around. And I'm just saying it. If you look at Vermithor, you look at the structure of his face, you look at the hordes. Look, Vermithor is the father to Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. It's headcanon for me. It's just headcanon. And I've always wanted Vermithor to be the dad because he's awesome. And then you get this really good look at him, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's the Bronze Fury. It is.
And then so we saw Hugh bond, and then we see Ulf walking around the tunnels and almost steps on a dragon egg. But what I really liked about that scene is you see Silverwing kind of slowly getting up, and like she looks pissed off, but at the same time it's like, I see something in you. Like I don't know what it is. I honestly don't, but I see something in you. And they bonded, and it was really. I still liked it. I liked the bonding part. I really did.
Man, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, he stepped really close to that egg, and I thought he stepped on an egg, and I was going to freak out. So I'm glad he didn't do that. I swear. Ugh. But you're right. You don't see anything because she matches perfectly with the background. It was great. And oh, I've seen some memes and I've seen some stuff about how it was so much easier for him to bond with Silverwing than what happened with Vermithor. And here's my little thing. Silverwing and Vermithor have been together for a long time. At that point, Silverwing knew that Vermithor was out there likely bonding with somebody and he was going to go on some adventures. And I feel like she was like, okay, yeah, you'll do. Because she didn't want to stay back. She's basically like, I know Cyrax is out there and she's cute. She already has Caraxes and he sings to her. I'm not going to have Cyrax looking at my man. So Silverwing's like, you'll do. Let's go.
And I think Silverwing looks really well done. She's beautiful. I love like her head. Her head is exactly how I would think it should look. And then her coloring is really pretty. And I know some people said she should be bigger, but she can't. Like you said earlier, Amanda, that she can't be bigger than Vermithor. So she is huge. She's huge. She's perfect size to me. So
Yeah, we don't know if female, or if you'd like to call it egg-laying dragons, are necessarily smaller, but that's what we've seen so far. Cyrax is smaller, and I believe Dreamfire is smaller. Well, Silverwing, we got confirmation that she's still laying eggs, which is really cool. Silverwing's about the same age as Vermithor. They're around 100, a little less. And Vagar's about 180. So actually, the size is, to me, I think it's quite reasonable. And I think they did a good job. I just want to see continuity in the size. But I have no issue with that at all. Do I think Silverwing wanted to stretch her wings? Sure. But her home is the Dragonmont. That's her territory. If she went to King's Landing, it was because she was supposed to go to King's Landing. I don't think that was a joyride.
So then it goes to the council room for Aemond, and it's obvious that Larys, and not just Larys, but the Jasper Wild did not at all tell Aemond about Seasmoke and his rider. So Aemon doesn't know about this, and then all the small folk are yelling outside about a dragon being in the city, and he's just like, "What?" Like he gets up and he goes checks it out. They've got a scorpion ready, and you see Silverwing fly by, and honestly, I think it's for intimidation because a lot of people say that Silverwing probably just wanted to go out and fly. Okay, sure, but maybe she did. She probably did. But the fact that they were brought to King's Landing, there has to be a reason because of a scene after this. But so Aemon gets really upset and he wants to like deal with this dragon, right? So I don't know how he gets down to the court so fast, or not the court, but the stables so fast. He gets down. He must have flew down there. I'm just saying. And then gets on a horse. And I am sorry, but I never want to see him on a horse again.
I don't know what that was. I don't know if the horse was too small for the actor or what, but like, I mean, I cackled. It was just a very awkward scene. Look, I love the actor. I do. I don't, look, I have no explanation for that. He has incredible posture, that's all I could say, and let's just keep aiming on a dragon. Let's just skip the horse.
Well, also, that horse riding got him outside of the city really fast, too. I'm like, how did he get from the Red Keep to outside of the city so fast? I don't know. For some reason, Vagar is out there in the city. Outside of the city. I don't know why she's out there. She should be in the dragon pit, but whatever, that's fine. And then he's going to chase Silverwing. And I looked it up. Dragonstone is a few hundred miles away from King's Landing. So I don't know how he ended up almost at King's Landing that fast. They just wanted to rush it, probably. I don't know why, but they did.
And that is why the name of this podcast is Girls Nerd Out. Because yes, Andrea looked up the distance from King's Landing to Dragonstone, and it is about 400 miles. She told me this, and I told her that I know this. Drogon flies at approximately 200 miles per hour. So that would mean it would take Drogon 2 hours to get from King's Landing to Dragonstone. Vagar doesn't fly as fast as Drogon, so it would take her longer. So it made it seem like King's Landing is a stone's throw away. And it's not. It's not. It would have taken Vagar 5 hours or so. Yeah.
So Aemond goes to Dragonstone, or close to Dragonstone, and then tells Vagar to turn around to flee because he'll probably be outnumbered. He doesn't know how many dragons. I mean, he knows factually, obviously, Silverwing. We got Vermax. We got Cyrax. We got Moondancer, and that's it. That he knows that are actively being used. Oh, and Seasmoke that are actively being used. That's all he knows. Wait, no, he didn't know about Seasmoke, so he doesn't know that Seasmoke has a rider. Nobody told him.
He does not know about Seasmoke. So, from his point of view, Rhaenyra has Cyrax, Jace has Vermax. Bela has Moondancer. And he just saw someone on Silverwing. That's 4. He cannot be sure where Damon is. So there is a possibility of Caraxes. That is 5 dragons. It was correct for him to flee because that would be 4 to 5 dragons on one. And Vagar is big, but she's slow. There's absolutely no way he should have kept going at all.
No, and Vagar didn't listen to him, which I find very telling because and now some people say that it was probably because she's old. I don't agree with that. I think it's honestly because Amond is not a good dragon rider. I mean, look at the way he uses her. He uses her as, like you said earlier, a weapon. So
It's not because of her age. She's not ignoring him because of her age, and I can prove it. Okay, Viserys the First. He obviously had Balerion, the Black Dread. He famously only had one flight with Balerion, and Balerion passed of old age. Here's the thing. Viserys goes up to Balerion, gets on Balerion, and they have a nice flight around King's Landing. Balerion then goes down to the ground, and he closes his eyes and he dies of old age. Here's the thing. Balerion probably didn't feel very good. But what did he do? He obeyed Viserys. It's not her age. Balerion was older than Vagar. Vagar is about 180. Balerion was about 202. Everybody's talking about her like she's senile. No, she's not senile. There is a reason she does not immediately obey Aemon, and I don't know if that's because he has conflicting emotions or because he does not try to strengthen his dragon bond or what, but it's not her old age. It's not.
when they show Dragonstone, they show Silverwing fly and go on top of Dragonstone, and then they show Vermithor in the background, and the Rhaenyra is coming out of the Dragon Mont, and then slowly coming out after her out of nowhere because we didn't expect this is Syrax. So, and the reason why I think what happened with Silverwing and King's Landing is intimidation is because of how Rhaenyra is looking and how Syrax is looking. They look very fierce. And I think part of why Syrax looks so fierce is because of his rider, but also her rider, but also because she is a tough dragon, just like anybody. So, and Rhaenyra's face, the way that she looks, that is her being like, "Ha, look, I have big dragons too," and that's fine. She can intimidate the crap out of them all she wants. I'm here for it.
Okay, so now we can go ahead and rate. And I very much enjoyed this episode. Not really shocking. I love dragons. We saw a lot of dragons. I've been waiting, well, we both have, for Vermithor and Silverwing for quite some time. I am going to give it a 9.5 scales out of 10. The only reason I'm taking anything off is because I had to see Alicent on her wilderness yoga retreat into the forest and her swim session, which I found to be a bit absurd. And I'm going to take a little bit off for that Aemond horse thing because that was just awkward. But great episode. Great episode.
Yes. Well, I'll give it a 10 because I really just enjoyed everything. Yeah, I didn't like Allison, but I did like what she said about nothing is clean here, but that's also her fault. It's nobody else's. Like, you wanted this to happen. It's your fault what's going to happen now. That's just how it is. What I think is going to happen next week, I think we're gonna be preparing for some battles. At least we might see some battles in the Riverlands. I really hope so, because Daemon is all in his his armor and he's talking to the Riverlands, and I think he's going to say fight for your queen, because he does say that in the trailer. So I think now Daemon's really going to be, this is for Rhaenyra, this isn't for me, this is for Rhaenyra, you know. I think he's finally going to be doing that, and I can't wait for that. And I also think we're going to see Tessarion. I saw Tessarion in the trailer, at least what I think is Tessarion. It was a blue dragon, but that could be anything, you know. But it's not big enough to be Dreamfire, so it's definitely not Dreamfire. And the reason why I'm saying that is because in the trailer they show Aemond ask Helena to fly and help in this war, and I don't think that's going to work, because Helena has done enough, and she just lost a child. I think she's going to be found out that she's pregnant. I don't know if they're going to do that, but I think she's going to find out that she's pregnant, and probably won't do it because of that. And maybe she sees something happen. I don't know. Maybe she'll get a dragon dream in this episode too. I'm not sure. And then I think Rhaenyra is going to rally up her dragon seeds, and I'm really excited for this.
What I am looking forward to for next week, which is the finale, I really want to see Rhaena and Sheep Stealer. I really want to see that. I really love Rhaena. That's my girl. That's my daughter. And I want her to finally get her dragon. She deserves it. And I just want to see the smile on her face, because Lord knows she has waited long enough. I agree with you. I think asking Helena to get on Dreamfire, we've seen no interaction between the two of them. If Helena is your fave, I am so sorry that she gets so little, but she has an iconic dragon, and it's Dreamfire, who is widely accepted as the biological mother of Daenerys' dragons. Yeah. Helena's a dragon dreamer, and Dreamfire's her dragon, and we don't see them together. I want to see that, but I don't want to see it in a situation where she's being forced to do something that she's not going to be comfortable with. So that could go different ways. I am ready for David to get his army and get the heck out of Harrenhal. Let's just say, if Aemon ends up at Harrenhal, his experience with Alice Rivers is going to be really interesting. I'll say that. I think we're in for another really good episode, and I'm sure it's going to end on a cliffhanger just to get us. And it's going to be 2 years until the next season, so that's going to be like, ugh. But I'm looking forward to it. I am. Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
Hey, this is Andrea.
And this is Amanda. And you just listened to
Girls Nerd Out.